Alright everybody, how's it going? This is the Third Eye View. My name's Brandon Bell. If you are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that button down below. Just show me the support. In today's episode, we're gonna be going over the quiet on set, the dark side of kids TV. It actually was on Investigation Discovery, but it just dropped on HBO Max over the weekend, Sunday, Monday, the 17th, 18th. And yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that today. So let's get it.
Got a lot of fucked up things going through my mind. I said listen real quick and see what you can find. Guess I fucked up in my past life. Yeah, now I'm sitting waiting, trying to spend the time. I'm seeing clearly now that you control me. But I'm vibing, I ain't sliding to the old me. Got a light of potential, nothing holding me back but essentials. The demons chase me, help me, I've been stuck.
Start off by saying first, this video is going to contain spoilers, obviously. I'm not going to go through every single aspect of the actual show. It's 4 episodes on HBO Max. You can go watch it yourselves, or there's plenty of places that go over it. I just didn't want to actually go through every single piece of it. I just want to kind of talk about some things that stuck out. It was honestly kind of hard to watch sometimes at some points. Certainly just being a father. It starts off by talking about all that. The first show that Dan really did back in the day. And so that was kind of in the early 90s. I was born in 99, and so the shows that I remember a lot that they talk about is the Man and Bind show, Drake and Josh, but I've not watched anything since iCarly. The first clip I'm going to show is from Fox 28 Houston, so we're going to roll that clip right now.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. The 90s are considered by many to be the golden age for Nickelodeon TV shows. A new documentary tells a different story, particularly about the alleged abuse some child actors suffered at the hands of showrunner Dan Schneider.
Dan's treatment of people on his shows was an open secret.
So my lawyer filed complaints, gender discrimination, hostile work environment, harassment, and it was so devastating.
How safe can any kids be in that environment? There would be even bigger problems down the line with actual pedophiles on set.
Wow. Multiple former child actors have spoken out in the documentary, including actor Drake Bell, who says he was sexually assaulted by his former dialogue coach, Brian Peck. There was also allegations against Jason Handy, a production assistant.
Yeah, as you can tell, they did talk about they only named 2 of them. They didn't really talk about the third man, which right off the top of my head, honestly, I cannot remember, because they just kind of threw him in there at the very last minute. But both of them were arrested. Actually, all 3 of them, like I said, were arrested for child molestation or just sexual assault for one of them, and just flat out just being pedophiles. So we're gonna kind of get into Brian Peck specifically. I remember me and my fiance, we were about to go to bed, and we just wanted to watch something very short, and we ended up watching this, and I spent 3 hours. We watched every single episode, and we were up till almost 1 a.m. But anyways, as I was saying, at the end of the second episode going into the third, they were talking about how Brian Peck was arrested for sexual assault against a minor, and they were kind of just leading up to it, talking to the other cast members of the other shows. Nobody at the time knew who it was. They were all saying, we don't know who it was that they were talking about. At the very end, Drake Bell comes and sits. Brian Peck sexually assaulted him for, at least it said in the show, at least for as long as 6 months. And it ranges horrific. It doesn't really go through everything. It was pretty horrific for him to have to go through all that again and kind of just talk about it, but in a weird way, I mean, I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that he was able to at least come out and talk about it finally. And so he was just kind of going through everything. He didn't really get into every single act specifically. I guess the real reason why I'm getting really emotional about it is just because as a father, I was just kind of Drake Bell's father. You didn't really ever hear anything else from his family, just from his father. His father was getting pretty emotional about it, as obviously you can tell, as any parent that's listening to this can probably imagine. But yeah, his father was in the show, and he very much so just expressed his grief about the whole situation. from there, it just kind of goes into how once he actually got arrested, there's a long thing in between there. He finally gets arrested. They go to the courthouse, and the entire side of his courtroom is packed with, I guess, CEOs, executives, just well-known faces that Drake Bell, and his family could recognize from his time in the industry. Just look up the Brian Peck versus the state of California court documents and easily find that there's they said 41 character statements. And for people that don't know what a character statement is or have never had to do one, it's statements that you can do on the behalf of somebody that is in court that can help either lower their sentence, or I don't know if it has before, where it completely have no sentence at all, make it down just completely nothing. I don't know exactly what he was facing or what the max Brian Peck could have faced, but he got only 16 months in prison, and I'm gonna have to assume that it was based on these 41 statements that were from a lot of actors and people that he had worked with throughout the years, and I can't remember the exactly names from them, but I'd like you to go, look it up for yourselves. I don't know if people wrote those statements before or after they knew that he confessed, or if it was like a mixture of both of those. And so my thing is, what I'm trying to do now with this is, I was wondering in the entire time I'm watching it if Dan Schneider is going to say anything. The entire time, some of the episodes when they were talking about him specifically, they would have little segments. He was never actually in the show, unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer. But they have little quotes and segments and stuff from him just saying how, statements from him just saying how, contradicting what he's said now in this interview that I'm about to bring up. But essentially, he was just saying that, when they're talking about the writer's room and the sexual harassment and everything like that, all these things that are just saying that I did not, pretty much saying that, like, whatever you're seeing is not what happened, is kind of the way I took it. So at least the interview with Page 6 is actually an interview with Boogie, Tebow. Page 6 is just the channel that I saw the little clips of the interview. The actual full interview that I saw with Dan Schneider, with Tebow from iCarly, I'm going to put a link to that in the description, or either right here in this video. I'm just gonna roll a little clip of that as well.
Past 2 nights was very difficult, me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret, and I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
He's saying that he's completely sorry for everything that has happened in the past and that he wished he could go back and change it. And I completely get people trying to amends and people change and everything like that, which, I mean, I totally get. It's just kind of hard because the show is being made. This is just my personal opinion of it. It just completely contradicts what he's saying. I don't know exactly when it was filmed, but you're being interviewed, you're being asked statements about what is happening, so that there's a documentary being filmed about you. That should have been the time where you come out and you should have done the interview that you did right now with Tebow that I just saw. You should have done that, Dan, in the show. There's a specific section or a specific question that Tebow asks Dan.
Yeah. Now, you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
But currently where we are, some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
All these jokes that you're speaking of, that the show covered over the past 2 nights, every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny and only funny. Now we have some adults looking back at them 20 years later through their lens, and they're looking at them and they're saying, I don't think that's appropriate for a kid show. And I have no problem with that. If that's how anyone feels, let's cut those jokes out of the show, just like I would have done 20 years ago or 25 years ago. I cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am.
Yeah.
So if there's anything in a show that needs to be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
And so what I'm getting from that is he calling for us to ban his shows? Ban iCarly, ban all that, ban On Air Dares, ban Drake and Josh, ban the Amanda Bynes show? Like, if that is what he's saying, then I guess good for you, Dan. But almost every single person from a whole generation, 2 generations, because their parents were involved, has seen this. And to me, it's just taking it down just ain't gonna help, because there's still all the videos everywhere, all over the internet, that you can just go look this stuff up. I was able to cover everything I wanted to talk about. Like I said, go watch it. Please go watch it. It's amazing. Go share this video. Get people aware of it. It's just crazy for me to think that I used to watch these shows when I was a kid. You just never thought about this stuff. Some of the stuff that they show from clips, you never think about it as a kid. But if I was a parent walking by and my daughter's watching, I would definitely be like, what is this? Some of the most disturbing clips were just ones that they showed with Ariana Grande and from Zoey 101. They were just, it was crazy. New sex offenders and new pedophiles get found every single day. People that you don't even know about. You're just like, wow, imagine what shows we're watching right now, what movies we're watching right now, where stuff like this is happening. The stuff with Brian Peck and Drake Bell happened before they were like getting into filming Drake and Josh. I remember at one point he was saying how they had to re-film. Actually, yeah, no, they were already in the middle of filming Drake and Josh, the pilot, when he finally got arrested, Brian Peck. So Drake continued his stardom in that industry for that long. And I remember one thing that he said was just that no one ever checked on him. The only time was Dan, the first time. After he found out it happened, that's all he said. Dan asked him if he was okay, what he can do. But yeah, Drake said that there was no, it's a crazy thing to bring up. You can't just kind of be like, so hey. I think it's just wild that nobody checked on him. I think the worst thing too was that his father did not know until after everything. They went to the court without him. His dad didn't even know until after everything. That's something else that you'll find out when you watch the show. And it'll probably break your heart like it broke mine. Brian Peck had invited a bunch of people over to his house at one point. This was before the whole Drake Bell allegations and before actually he even did anything to Drake. One of the people from All That, one of the actors from All That, had discovered a painting, and it was a self-portrait of John Wayne Gacy. People that don't know who he is. He was a convicted serial killer that loved to prey on little boys and young men, and did horrific crimes to all of them. And so he had became friends with John Wayne Gacy, Brian Peck did, and there was a stack of pen pal letters between them while he was in prison. And that to me is just, how did that not go off in people's heads? Because he said that he brought all the kids there and all the parents there to show them this. The actor did. He saw this happen. He was like, oh my God, I gotta go show people. They all came in and I don't know what happened with that. They just kind of showed that part and that was it. And to me, that's just, there were so many red flags in the show that didn't really get addressed. Parents finding things, parents getting senses, urges, but not wanting to have their kids not be in the starlight. Not wanting to be the parent that isn't okay with what's going on. There was one mom who actually heard from her daughter that one of the producers, Jason Handy, had sent her a very explicit video, and so she knew this, but also just didn't want to be the bad mom that had her kid not be in Hollywood. And to me, I'm just a different man, different generation. I hope it would never happen. I hope it would never happen to me, and if I was in that situation, because I would 100% be in prison. You can't have any tolerance for anything of that nature. And so that's everything that I wanted to talk about. So make sure you guys go watch the show on HBO Max, The Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. It's very good. 4 episodes, about 45 minutes to an hour each episode. So you're gonna spend about, if you're gonna try and binge it, do it in a good setting. Don't do it like me and start it at 9 and get done at 1. You're gonna feel like crap in the morning. That's what I did. No bueno. But once I started, I just couldn't stop, and it was wild. And so make sure you guys go watch it. make sure you like, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure you give me a subscription, please. Sub, because that's the only way we grow. That's the only way that we get to other people. So thank you very much. This is ZOM-B. This is the Third Eye View. We're out.
Got a lot of fucked up things going through my mind. I said listen real quick and see what you can find. Guess I fucked up in my past life. Yeah, now I'm sitting waiting, trying to spend the time. I'm seeing clearly now that you control me. But I'm vibing, I ain't sliding to the old me. Got a light of potential, nothing holding me back but essentials. The demons chase me, help me, I've been stuck in a fire.